Dummies of Gaming Podcast, here we come.
Hello, everybody. This is JetSparks373, your star-worthy host, and I'm here with my irreverent co-host, yet always funny, Bear64.
Hello, all you sexy fuckers.
I totally screwed up that intro, but whatever. So this is what we did. We tested out StreamYard. Now we are set up shop, and this is how we're going to be doing our format for our podcast from here on out. So anyone, welcome to start asking questions, and we'll start giving our 2 cents on anything. So what do you think is new in these YouTube/gaming streets or anything of pop culture that you want to start off with, Bears?
Well, in terms of YouTube, Pro Jared is, defending himself, and he brought some pretty good evidence that he did not do the things he was, allegedly doing.
Oh yeah. I mean, he did explicitly say that, but I also watched the video from Review Tech USA just a few minutes ago saying that you really shouldn't be like fraternizing with your
Audience.
with your audience and whatnot, because obviously somebody who's gonna be like bitter or obviously they have like ulterior motives are gonna do something like that to try to destroy or discredit you or any such way. And just also because it's more so trendy now in this day and age with this like harsh like social justice climate. Yeah, this whole social justice Me Too climate going on here. And it's just, I mean, I have a lot of mad respect for Pro Jared. I mean, look, I understand the guy has made some pretty hilarious videos, and I mean, just that was pretty crazy. I mean, the only thing I will actually still say about that is that picture of his, you cannot unsee that.
I'm glad I only saw the censored versions.
Yes. Oh boy.
Hey, although the Sailor Moon one I cannot like unsee, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, that's just still really crazy that, of course, even like they're going like the person like the biggest person who was accusing him, he actually had a story where he actually had like sustained like a brain injury while he was in the locker room. He actually got hit by something. I don't exactly remember how it happened, but he got hit by something. He felt okay after it happened, but once he got in the locker room, he actually collapsed and fainted, and he's been like dealing with like bipolar disorder and psychosis for months, and that's why he's also been suffering from memory loss also. And that's a pretty crazy claim to go out on, also, to say that on top of the part where he allegedly sent like lewd photos to this guy.
Well, it was mainly the most incriminating evidence was that he was asking if they were 18 or older. Like, he did ask up front.
Exactly the point. And that's true. I mean, sir, yeah, he did explicitly make that clear, but still, of course, there are people out there, even the guy who's the biggest accuser of his is trying. He immediately automatically said, I'm like 15 years old. And look, he just did. I'm not saying I really don't condone the idea of sending like any inappropriate pictures to anybody. I really don't condone that, honestly. But
no, definitely not. That's just stupid to do that, especially if someone you don't know closely or not even a relationship in.
Exactly. So that's always that weirder case with Pro Jared. So it's just, I mean, it's crazy that I know he had to stay silent so he also could try to get whatever evidence he could to try to actually defend himself and actually plead his innocence, essentially. But I know still, even in this day and age, the thing is, even just going forward with the whole Me Too thing, I mean, at least like we all know Harvey Weinstein, who's like obviously one of the biggest film producers in Hollywood. I mean, but you really gotta commend like Seth MacFarlane here. He basically already made a joke about it. Made like multiple jokes about Harvey Weinstein
being a creeper,
and essentially being sexually assaulting women and whatnot. And he's made jokes about that. Hell, there's like so many crazy jokes that nowadays seem almost like he eerily predicted like a lot of things, like The Simpsons eerily predicted the future about
I actually
certain
just
things.
watched a video about that.
And I mean,
you know how Simpsons did all that. They swear that dude was a time traveler.
But it's just even more crazy. I mean, people back then, like there was like a few years ago where Seth actually hosted the Oscars. And I thought he did a pretty good job. He brought his little brand of comedy to the show, but of course everybody was not all that impressed. You could even see it from some of the people in the audience at the Oscars, the look on their face, especially when that little song went by. We saw your boob song. Just
oh my gosh, we saw your boob song.
Yeah, I don't remember it, but I know he sung a song about various actresses who actually appeared in their birthday suits. Just gonna put it plainly there. I'm just gonna be a little more with that. But still, just Seth always really can make really good jokes with stuff. I mean, still, the Orville, it's like a major love letter to people who are fans of Star Trek, Next Generation to Deep Space to Voyager, those type of Star Trek shows, and those were still widely popular at the time.
And yeah, actually, my dad's really enjoying that show.
Yeah, it's really, really good though. I mean, my dad still wants to. He hasn't had time to see it because of his job and whatnot, but it's still such a really fun show. It really brought a lot. I mean, the first season kind of show. I mean, still there were some serious moments with like how the character Bortus and his people, the Mocklins, were all about like
all male, I think it was, or all male.
Yeah, they're like an all male species, but of course, if there are females born, they have to undergo a mandatory sex change and whatnot. It's crazy.
I still wonder how that's even possible.
Yeah, but the funnier thing that Seth's character Ed Mercer said, "Wait, you guys your people lay eggs?" I always wonder how all male species propagates itself.
It's kind of like the Legend of Zelda. It's like all women, but it's like, how do you guys actually, function?
And it's also the same way with the Asari in Mass Effect. They are a monogendered race, and obviously their entire planet is rich in element zero, the very thing that makes them use that floaty biotic magic stuff.
Huh.
So yeah, I mean, it's all because of like some Prothean actually came to their planet. Hell, there's like a damn thing where someone made a joke about that in this Mass Effect comedy codex by this channel called N7K here. We're all pretty funny. So far they've done just a video on the Solarians, the Turians, the Asari, and the Krogan. I think the Krogan one is the funniest one. I think that, at least I think so. It's just like really crazy. But yeah, the Asari, I mean, it's really insane. It's really weird to say how the same thing with the Asari, that they're a monogendered race, but yet how do they procreate? But it turns out they can just copy their genes and sort of do like a sort of like mind melding thing with their partner, whether it can be of any gender or of any species, so they can literally mate with anything in the universe. Even because of that.
So an SJW wet dream?
Huh? Almost
an SJW wet dream. It's like you could be anything you want.
Well, no. I mean, the Asari, the Asari offspring are still Asari, but they basically have all the best qualities of their partner that is put into their offspring, essentially.
Oh, okay.
So that's basically what it is. I mean, sure, there are. Yeah, you can. Your Asari can have their mate can be with another Asari. It can be a human, male or female, or heck, even Turians. But still, another crazier thing about the Asari is that they, along with the Krogan, can live for at least 1,000 years. Their entire, like a single Asari or Krogan can live 1,000 years, which is crazy because at most humans, at least in the terms of the Mass Effect universe, we've been able to live at least 100 years because of all the modern medical science of the 22nd century in that universe. You actually can have corrective therapy for any sort of thing that you any sort of ailment you have, whether it's cystic fibrosis, nearsightedness, every single thing can easily be cured through routine gene therapy, whilst like for newborns and even children who are still in the womb. Like there's even a thing that kind of brings that up a little bit. There's like a small little like errand mission in Mass Effect 1 where it's like a brother and sister are arguing about her son having to not want to have to do gene therapy because they say gene therapy could harm the child, but her brother, who's this baby's uncle, wants to do it because her husband actually had a genetic heart disease, and they think the baby could develop the same thing. But he's all for trying to get that sort of like corrective gene therapy, but she's against it. But again, I think if you can either tell it this either way, like you can either let it just be her choice, or you have to come to a mutual agreement. They both have to come to a mutual agreement about it. So it's just all that crazy stuff, though. But wouldn't it be really, really weird if, like, I know probably somebody's gonna come with some crazy fan fiction about this, probably based off that episode of the Orville, where there actually are Asari males, but they're like hidden from the general galactic community, just like how the Ardak Yakshi, which are basically just like essentially like the psychopaths of their species, who are usually just sent to like Buddhist monasteries essentially, or sent to prisons for like the more extreme cases and whatnot. These are the type of people that can basically, like, when they do like the Asari meld thing, they basically can almost essentially kill their partner when they do this, and they often pursue like very, very abusive relationships and whatnot. It's really, really crazy with the Mass Effect universe, how all these, there's like, so even like all the races have some sort of backstory to them. Even like the only truly aliens in the Mass Effect universe are the Elcor and the Hanar, which are basically just like these giant, like 8-foot tall jellyfish looking things, and they speak in a sort of always constantly polite tone. And they always refer to themselves as this one or it, because they actually, these Hanar actually have two names. They have the face name, which is known to everyone in the whole world, and you have the soul name, which is meant for people they're actually close with and they have relationships with. And of course, you know about the character Thane Creo.
I actually don't. Here's the thing: I actually never played Mass Effect.
Oh, okay, sorry, but
yeah, right.
Yeah, but I know. But the thing is, though, I think the Drell species, who are just like those green skin creatures that have like perfect memory of every event of their past, and because their entire species didn't progress past like the industrial age, like all those frequent problems like climate change, pollution, completely ravaged their planet and almost essentially drove their species to extinction. But the Hanar intervened and actually helped them migrate to their home world. But the Hanar homeworld is mostly just like all ocean cover, and the Drell come from like an arid desert planet. So obviously they have to deal with some sort of bacterial lung disease called Keppel syndrome. So most likely Drell can't live for any more than like at least 85 years. That's at least how long of a lifespan they have. But the shortest lifespan of any species is probably the Solarians, which they're hyperactive with their hyperactive metabolism. They talk fast, they move fast, and think very fast. But they only need only 1 hour of sleep every day. It's just crazy that they can stay up for that long. But of course, their hyperactive metabolism basically shortens their life expectancy. So at most, a Solarian is only expected to live at least 40 years. So I guess they can't waste all that time with a long drawn out Elcor rendition of Hamlet. and the Elcor, which are just like these quadrupedal elephant looking things, they evolved on a very high gravity planet called Takuna, and I think they also had some kind of they also are very uncomfortable when they go on like when they conduct space travel, and they came in contact with the Asari. But the thing is, in a low gravity environment, basically if they fall, it will be a death sentence for them. They can essentially die from just a fall.
Huh. Like how big of a fall exactly?
Just like you slip and just fall over, that Elcor is dead.
Huh.
But the thing is, like I said, and also the fact is that they have a very monotone speech. So, but when dealing with other species, they can't really like convey how they're feeling to other species because of their monotone speech. They have to often clarify what emotion they're feeling, and then they speak their statement, what they're going to say. Like,
I am really pissed off, Jeffrey.
No, like angry. I'm sorry, human, but that is unacceptable in my eyes. Like that, essentially. And I mean, but the thing is, amongst themselves, they actually do stuff like pheromones and whatnot. So that's the sort of thing that conveys how meaning between themselves. It's almost like that weird little theory I have where other species can actually other species can understand each other, but we can't. But other species can't understand them. Like we couldn't understand what dogs are saying, but I probably bet dogs can understand what each other are saying.
Well, yeah. It's like bark, bark.
Bark, bark.
Yes, bark, bark.
Bump, three vertical bumps, 4 bumps in a square. Freaking Peter Griffin with talking to a blind person. Is this your card? It's red. I don't know what red is. It's like trying to teach color to a blind person. But still, another thing that's moving on from this, it's crazy to also think that now they like NBA 2K, this is just straight up shameless now. They are blatantly showing a new trailer for their upcoming game, and they are just not even going
thing.
Yeah. This is like everyone's up in arms. Angry Joe especially, he is furious. And the fact that it's rated E10, and even Peggy for those in Europe.
Peggy 3, I think it would be.
Yeah, it's Peggy 3. Yeah, Peggy 3. Or wait, no, Peggy. I'm not sure if Peggy is just for just the UK or it's for all of Europe, but I don't know. But it's basically marketed toward kids. It's just like that episode of SpongeBob where it's like, what about the children, Mr. Krabs? The children? I don't give a damn about the children. All I care about is their parents' money, and that's essentially what they want. They
one of the best lines.
What?
One of the best lines.
Yeah, it's just like, it just shows that they honestly are just don't care. Hell, even Jim Sterling said that, these guys it's a sign that these guys just really just don't care what we think or how much we speak out about it. They don't care as long as like the super casuals are giving them money. They'll make a lot of money, and they'll just keep finding more and more insidious means to throw it in our faces and whatnot. So it's just, I don't know how that's all gonna play out, because eventually if this somehow doesn't find a way to bite them in the butt at some point, then the entire thing is just gonna get worse. This whole little
like something needs to kick EA in the butt like really hard.
Yeah, I mean, I still cannot believe they actually called it surprise mechanics. It's, oh my gosh, just that term alone, they really just do not. They really just want to
really care. They really do want your money and money only.
Yeah, but I'm telling you though, sports games, I really don't think that they say, oh, video game development takes a lot of resources. Yeah, with a sports game, I don't think you have to use much resources. All you have to do is like reuse assets, textures, update the roster, and bam, you just spit out a $60 yearly annual release of a sports game. I'm pretty sure exactly. It probably would not take that much resources. I mean, if you're building a brand new game, but I'm pretty sure most new games are probably using like an updated version of the engine that they used for the last game.
Oh yeah, like sports games they're just all the same. There's no. That's why I like the Mario stuff is because they try to bring new mechanics in, and it's like of course fantasy and all that.
Yeah, I mean, heck, didn't they say in like Super Mario Odyssey that Mario's not even a real human? He's just some weird looking munchkin thing or something.
That's honestly hard to believe, especially how Pauline looks compared to the other citizens. She's tall like them. She looks more human.
Yeah,
But she looks more cartoony.
Yeah, she look. I mean, everyone in like that city setting in Mario Odyssey, yeah, they all look like actual looking humans, but Mario's like some really cartoonish looking thing, like a cartoonish looking human. Same thing with like Bowser and whatnot, and like obviously the ghost Cappy, which obviously allows Mario to possess other things, which I think is a pretty amazingly funny mechanic that's unique to that game. So
they're gonna make another live action Mario movie, and this time it takes place in New Donk City. But yeah, it's like same thing as like actual New York City. It's like the perfect excuse.
Oh gosh, but dear Lord, I mean, at least hopefully it'll be a lot better than Dino Hatton. Oh gosh.
Oh wait, Dino Hatton?
Yeah, that was the name of like the dinosaur parallel world in the original Super Mario movie was all about.
That's right. I forgot the name of the name, and I've seen that movie so many times with my mom.
Yeah, it's just I know one thing. It's just really, really insane. But I really don't understand. I mean, we just know full well that video game movies, I'm still skeptical, but I'm still gonna see how bad it's gonna get with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I'm actually just expecting to see how bad it's gonna be.
I mean, because I give the people this where they actually listen to the fans about the design. And they're willing to change it.
Yeah, I understand that, but I know still Jim Carrey. We already know full well he's gonna give it his all in this performance. He's really gonna just bring his A game because that's what he's good at in terms of character. He can always do a crazy, wacky, zany character all the time. But I'm telling you one thing: if there was a game I wish they would make into a movie, is Killer Instinct.
That would be pretty interesting.
Now, for me, here's what I would do, and there's a couple other aspects that could be adopted into this screenplay for this supposed Killer Instinct movie. Is look, we already know Ultratech is obviously the big evil corporation in the game, where obviously they hold the fighting tournament. And obviously, really, more or less, the story is gonna mostly revolve around B Orchid's character trying to undermine them and figure out what they're up to. But you also have like the other characters, like the Rosses. Like, there's gonna be at least 8 to 10 characters that are gonna show up in the whole movie. And my picks are obviously for the heroes are gonna be Jago, B Orchid, TJ Combo, and Chief Thunder. And for the villains, obviously, we're gonna see people we're gonna see Fulgore. We're gonna see. I would want to put Saberwolf in, Cinder, Idol, and maybe Riptor. Maybe Riptor. I'm not sure how Riptor could work, but still, you could try. But still, I know when the newer Killer Instinct games, there's gonna be some stuff that could make way for a good setup for a sequel, because obviously the thing is, like, one of the major elements of the character of Fulgore, he's basically just a prototype before they go into full production by creating these new combat robots. But the prototype is actually just a person who's just wearing a cybernetic suit. And that's actually going to be Chief Thunder's brother, Eagle, who was supposedly killed at the last Killer Instinct tournament. But his brother body was never returned to him and his tribe. So he goes on a mission to try to find out what happened to Eagle. And he finds out when he fights Fulgore, he finds out that it's his brother, and now he swears revenge against the the CEO, the current like CEO, or basically say he's like the chairman of the board of the chairman of Ultratech, and he ends up and he like somehow gets mutated by Arya, who's like who's like the real true antagonist of and the real head of Ultratech, who's like essentially just who's essentially just an entire cyborg woman. And she basically uses the thing that turns the CEO into Idol and makes him fight against all the other participants. It's like the final battle would just be like Idol versus all comers, essentially. But I'd say at the end, it like ultimately ends up to like all the hero fighters teaming up to fight against like Idol and ultimately defeating him together as a team. And obviously that sets up Arya as like the main and probably the final boss of the next movie. I would probably just try to see if you could try to make it in just like at least let's make at least like one sequel, and that's about it. And I mean, since Microsoft owns Rare, obviously they could easily try to back that project. They should really try to back that, and Rare. But I mean, still, I mean, the thing is, all you really just need are competent writers to make a movie good. And not just try to stay faithful to the source material.
I mean, look at the Detective Pikachu. Like, they did a pretty damn good job.
Yeah, I will say that. Yeah, they did do really good. But I still think it was painfully predictable, but it was just
a kid's movie. That's the thing.
It was a good fun run, but I think it was like a good love letter to Pokemon fans everywhere. I mean, yeah, when the initial trailer showed up, yeah, all the Pokemon look like plushies essentially, but they really refined how they look, especially with Mr. Mime. They smoothed out his textures and whatnot. And I'd say the best looking Pokemon in Detective Pikachu was definitely Charizard. He looked really good.
Oh yeah, he was surprisingly looking good.
And at least they also remembered that if you also like in that scene where if a Magikarp is out of water for too long, it traceably transforms into Gyarados or evolves into Gyarados.
Huh. Wait, isn't it like I never knew how Magikarp turned into Gyarados. I knew it's actually based off a Japanese, legend. When a fish or a carp goes into like the water or waterfall, they turn into a dragon.
Yeah. But still, yeah, video game films are essentially are probably just not good because the people they have working on them are always they always like the studio interferes. Some producer gets elevated to something that is beyond what he should be doing. Like in the case with Mortal Kombat Annihilation, like I think the person who directed the first one left, and I guess the guy who was the director of photography was elevated to director, and then obviously New Line kept like interfering with development. But the problem with MK Annihilation's problem was that they had way too many characters in the movie. I mean, sure, yeah. a lot. I mean, the only true fan service moment was obviously the Scorpion versus Sub-Zero fight,
which that's like a gift,
Yeah, that was a highlight of that terrible movie, but I still think the weirdest thing is like there's like multiple small continuity errors, like in the fight with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. If you like freeze frame really close, like when like Liu Kang flips over to the other side to help Sub-Zero, if you freeze frame like right at the second, you can see the Scorpion's actor just standing in the background.
Huh.
And another one where the actress who plays Jade, like when you see her transform from that bikini she was wearing in the snow, and then she goes into her warrior costume, like she's wearing this dark makeup, and her hair is pinned up like she has spikes and stuff all over it. And then right after like Liu Kang manages to beat her, like her hair, her ponytail style changes, and her makeup is like literally gone. It's like that's like weird. And even like in the end where they finally show up, where they finally expose like the twist that she's like that she's a traitor. Yeah, her makeup suddenly also comes back for no real reason. It's just really weird. But the biggest problem of all was obviously Shao Kahn.
Huh.
Father, the merger has begun. Earth is under attack. It is glorious. I'm acting. Seriously. Like, I know he was hamming it. I mean, people made jokes saying about that. That actor probably should deserve an Oscar for how hammy his performance is. Yeah, but I'm telling you though, it's just like, you know, another bigger problem is that they literally also recast most of the actors except for Liu Kang and Katana.
No, I think Liu Kang was different.
No. Robin Shou reprised his role, and so did Talisa Soto. But the actress who played Sonya, and the actor who played Johnny Cage were different, and Raiden was definitely different.
Oh yeah, he also had short hair.
Yeah, like at the end where he decides to sacrifice his immortality, which I really think is a very dumb rule that even like the MK cartoon still like made note of that also, is that Raiden can't actually move between other realms because, well, if he does, his powers won't work in other realms like Outworld. And I mean, still, it's just a really weird rule. I mean, obviously in the games, if Raiden actually went through multiple dimensions, his power will still work. But still, maybe I think they'll just be less effective in.
Well, the Nether realm is apparently weakened, but it's like he still has it.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, if he's going to other realms besides Earth realm, yeah, his powers are weakened, but he still is powerful enough because, well, he's a god. And just that whole other thing, though. I mean, hell, I think even the actor who played Johnny Cage in the first film, he actually saw the script and they saw they were going to kill him off in the first 5 minutes. He said, "Nope, screw that. That's stupid. I ain't doing this. I ain't gonna come back for like 5 minutes and then just get killed off. Screw this. I'm opting out of this." And Bridget Wilson, I mean, she was like for the first movie, she was literally a last minute replacement. Because originally they cast like Cameron Diaz as Sonya Blade, but she broke her wrist during like martial arts practice.
Go figure.
Yeah, obviously like the producer Larry Castanoff was hot off like the production of The Mask, and obviously they wanted since like that was like Cameron Diaz's film debut. So they obviously wanted her as the role of Sonya Blade, but obviously just fate intervened, and obviously Bridget Wilson did a pretty good job.
It's kind of like the equivalent exchange thing from I think Alchemy, but I'm thinking of what is it? Full Metal Alchemist. It was like, oh, you break a list, you get out of a shitty movie.
Yeah, essentially. But still, it's really crazy to think this kind of stuff about. That somebody at the last minute, but they blatantly just like replaced most of the actors in the movie. And I mean, still a few of those people that were in Mortal Kombat Annihilation were American Gladiators. I think like the actor who played Jax and Motaro. I think they were like on the old 90s version of American Gladiators.
Huh.
Remember that really old obscure show?
I have actually never watched a single episode of that.
Yeah, I know. But it's just really crazy that all that stuff had to happen, and because of that, like there was supposed to be a third movie in development, Mortal Kombat Devastation, but obviously like the speculation of the development for that movie circled around the net for years, but it's still like even like around that time it was in development hell, so I think it's been fully canceled. But now they're trying to make a brand new MK movie, but of course obviously it's already being plagued by SJW crap. They're gender swapping Melina and Raiden apparently for some weird reason.
Why gender swap Melina? Like, that's weird.
Look, if you're gonna have it, why don't you just have Baraka in the movie instead? Jesus, I mean, it's not that easy. I mean, sure. Obviously, we already know Melina is just like she's
part like Conan.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sure, she wears the veil because it basically shows her as like freaking as Baraka. yeah, she looks beautiful on the outside, but get too close, she's gonna give you a hickey that'll send you to the morgue, or at most she's gonna just bite your head off and just eat it.
Yeah.
but I'm really just, this is really, really crazy that they're gonna be doing that. I mean, it's just, I mean, sure. Another person I'd say did a pretty decent job playing a character, and I really wish they would bring him back for like an actual Mortal Kombat movie, is like the guy who played Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat Legacy, and even did that Mortal Kombat Rebirth trailer. I think the actor's name, he's an actual martial artist and stuntman named Matt Mullins, and he's like, the only other thing I've seen him in is like this show called Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, and he played like the secondary rider who's like the partner and almost best friend of like the main Dragon Rider, which was this dude in red, which was a red armor. But Kamen Rider Wingnut was essentially he was essentially almost like Batman, essentially, like in terms of his design. But I honestly think if a story I'm writing, if they actually try to make that into a live action TV series, I would have wanted Matt Mullins. He would have been perfect to play the character. Like he would basically be one of the antagonist character who can manipulate dark matter and energy, and obviously he can bolster his strength and move extremely fast, and is very, very adept at martial arts. And I'd say he's like the one who engages my hero the most throughout the entire books and throughout the entire series if it becomes a live action thing. And I mean, still, he's like a simple henchman, but of course, like all the villains are often very charismatic. I mean, yeah, I would still give that element to them where, yeah, they still would want to beat, where they are like, they're villains you actually want, you would root for the hero to want to defeat them, but you also would secretly want to root for them because they're just so charismatic and they're just really fun to be on screen. And just their demeanor and their mannerisms just make them a joy to watch. But they're not like hammy or anything. It's just like they're people who are very chill. They're very persuasive. They're very friendly to other people. And like the main villain, obviously, he and the character Shadow, who Matt Mullins plays, are on equal terms with each other. But they have like very good reasons of why they basically are in service to the main villain. Because one, Shadow essentially owes the main villain his life, because he saved him from being killed. Because he basically was beaten and left for dead, and basically he was mutated and giving him his shadow bending powers, and now he serves him, and also since he's like an alien reporter, he can basically help quell rumors of suspicion of their criminal activities. And the same thing with another female villain who's also one of like his main who's like his main henchman, but he's like PR person, and obviously she's a lawyer, so she also helps can help get people try to quell any rumors, also trying to erase memories, where she has these different snake abilities where she can basically hypnotize somebody to actually forget things. And also the bigger aspect about her powers is that she can also spit a very corrosive acid from fangs that were tracked from her canines. So you don't want that stuff on you, or you don't want it put into your bloodstream, because that will just liquefy all your organs inside. And either way you're dead essentially. But they are two very, very dangerous people, and they're probably the main villain's most trusted associates. And obviously, yeah, the main villain also contracts thieves, mercenaries, assassins to try to take down my hero essentially. But in a way, he actually secretly wants to actually have my hero on his side and helping him achieve control and take over the city essentially. But that's something for another day. I'm been working on that since I was in my sophomore year of high school, or my freshman year of high school. Still, I just like that. I mean, it's all inspired by tokusatsu series like Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Kinkader, all those other old tokusatsu properties. And I mean, that's an inspiration. Now, still, it also blends a lot of the old traditional Western style superhero tropes. But still, I often want to just do something where I actually make fun of like all the classic action film tropes and whatnot. It's just like, hell, they're even like, so like, basically there would be like someone just like somebody would just channel what the audience is feeling, not saying it directly to them, not like fully breaking the fourth wall. It's like questioning how the heck is that even possible? Or, okay, that seriously doesn't work how it does in the movies.
So Last Action Hero.
Essentially in some ways, though. But I do like that. I mean, I've always loved those old action films, and I also still love superhero films. But let's move on. What else is there to talk about?
Spider-Man drama.
Oh yes. Apparently now a lot's happened now. I mean, some say it's finalized, but I heard like rumors that they're still trying to like renegotiate everything. But apparently Sony finally just full on took the rights of Spider-Man back, and he's probably not going to appear in the MCU. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure now for all of us MCU fans who finally got to see Spider-Man in the universe. But now I don't think even like the last two Spider-Man films, they basically were setting up a Sinister Six film. I guess now,
which we discussed this a little bit yesterday, where I mentioned that I swear that plot is cursed
to not happen. Yeah,
at least for a live action adaptation because it was in the game.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Look, for the Sony rights, Sony, anything outside of live action, that should be yours to do with as you please. Like the game, Into the Spider-Verse, that kind of stuff. But live action stuff, that should all be done by Marvel and Disney.
I honestly am on Sony's side on this because Disney kind of got greedy about the whole thing.
Yeah, they did want that. I think they wanted a 50-50 split, but look, Disney already had I'm not sure what the deal was, but I'm pretty sure it was like a 75-25 split, which was between Disney has 25% of the earnings while Sony gets most of it. But
because it is their IP, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel created the character. I mean, really, but of course, Sony really wants to be stingy with the idea, only because look, back in the 90s, Marvel was on the verge of bankruptcy, so they basically sold off the rights of all their characters. Well, they still had like all the they had the rights to use them for animation and cartoons and whatnot. But anything in terms of like live action film adaptations, they were sold off to multiple studios. You had like Blade went to New Line Cinema, which obviously was the true genesis of the superhero boom, which most people think was not even happen because of Black. They think wasn't because of Black Panther. They think Black Panther was the start of like a black-led superhero movie. But I know people don't want to remember that movie Meteorite Man with Robert Townsend. But come on, there were three Blade films, and obviously the thing is like characters like the Fantastic Four, X-Men, and Deadpool were all sold to Fox and Disney. No, they were yeah.
Okay, we're talking about back then.
Yeah, back then. I know. Yeah, Fox is a part of Disney now. So yeah, and obviously Spider-Man was in Sony's camp, but I mean, obviously, Canon Films wanted to make a Spider-Man adaptation. That's been circling around since like the damn late 80s. So yeah, it's just crazy that all this stuff had to happen. And I understand Disney, yeah, they really want to just rule the world essentially. I mean, they own a lot of everything. Perfect there. Raw Julia and Bison.
Dude, I got references for everything. Don't fuck with me.
Hey, I'm the same way. Most people don't even get my references most of the time. Uncultured swines. But it's crazy to think all this crazy stuff had to happen with all the rights. I mean, licensing issues are just murder in Hollywood. They are complete murder. But yeah, I still think Sony really should just be fine. I mean, it would be a lot better if they incorporated Venom into the MCU more. I think I would have been I honestly think that would have been a lot better because I don't know why Sony still wanted to make their own cinematic universe to rival the MCU, but it doesn't make sense of why would you want to make characters with Spider-Man's rogue gallery, but not include Spider-Man himself. But I think now since Sony now owns Spider-Man again, I think that they might actually do that. But it just sucks that we're not going to see a conclusion to Far From Home. I wanted to see Spider-Man Sinister 6, if that's what they're going to call it.
The Sinister Mr. Spider.
No, that's don't go there. Fantastic Mr. Fox was just I thought that was an okay movie, but just wow, that would just be a terrible title, honestly.
Actually, no, that was just a joke.
Okay, but yeah, you just really had me there. But still, if someone actually did go through with that and made that a title, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's a good idea for more of a working title.
Honestly, I would say like for a parody.
Yeah, it's crazy though. I think we're doing this. We're 45 minutes in, and I don't think we've seen any viewers, or no one's even commented on it.
They'll come around.
Yeah, I hope so. But still, it's crazy to think that we're doing all the, like, Sony's doing all that crazy stuff where they just still want to have all the rights. But the thing is, look, Sony, they had and like for instance with Ghostbusters, all they had to do was let Ivan Reitman do what he wanted, and obviously the fans would have come in droves. Sony would have made a lot of money on that, and bam, both parties win. The fans are satisfied they got a sequel to Ghostbusters 2, and Sony makes money. Everybody wins. But of course, no. They had to bog it down with identity politics, and they had to let that dude Paul Feig come in and just try to essentially destroy everything. And of course, there's even rumors going around from like the Sony hacks that they actually bribed the original cast to come in and do the film and just be in there as cameos and whatnot.
Huh.
But I'm really hoping that Jason Reitman is gonna do everything right, because that's Ivan Reitman's son directing this new Ghostbusters coming in 2020.
Oh yeah, the Ghostbusters 3 and technically 4 if you are a fan of the game.
Yeah. It's crazy to also know that, essentially, the Ghostbusters, the video game, was essentially the third movie, and even all the cast came back to reprise their roles. But it's still really good. And I mean, I'm even definitely gonna go see this movie now because Paul Rudd's in it, the guy who plays Ant-Man.
Oh, okay, Paul Rudd. That's right.
Yeah. So.
Wait, is he the Doctor? Or Paul Rudd is actual Ant-Man?
No, Paul Rudd's the Ant-Man, the dude who just stole the suit and basically got thrown into all this. Hank Pym was the original Ant-Man and the creator of the suit and the Pym particles that allow you to shrink down to microscopic size. Yep. But it's crazy though. I mean, it still works in the dynamics where, you can still be small, like how physics are supposed to work. Like you can still be almost 2 inches tall, but still punch with the force of a full-size man, essentially, which is going by the physics of the MCU and the films itself of how the Pym particles work. I mean, still, you can actually do that the same way with like maybe black holes with the Hadron Collider or any sort of particle accelerator. They have experimented with stuff like that, but I don't really think it's not like enough where it could just like destroy the entire planet, unless this black hole would be the size of a marble, but it has the mass of the Earth itself. And even if you had a same object that was like a black hole about the size of the Earth, but it has the mass of the sun, which is like thousands of times heavy than what the Earth really is, because size really wouldn't matter, because mass is very, very different. Because if something has more mass in it, that means it's obviously more heavier. But the physical size of something is not really playing a factor in how this object or any sort of gravitational singularity works. Science. I love science. But still,
I know sciencey stuff. like what turns to ice.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing though. But still, I mean, there was a crazy thing. Also, if anyone is seeing the shout out to Midnight's Edge, where they actually did a very extensive story on what happened on with the production of how the production of like Ghostbusters 3 fell apart when Ivan Reitman was trying to develop, and him and Dan Aykroyd were trying to get it all set up for like the last decade or so. But of course,
Bill Murray didn't want to be in there. I know that.
Well, yeah, he was reluctant to be in there, but if he was known to like do something at the last minute. But of course, and Aykroyd said if he was willing to come in at the last second, there would always be a place for him in the movie. And I mean, sure, but that's the whole thing, though. But the other bigger problem why we probably wouldn't have got a good reunion with this suspected Ghostbusters 3 sequel was also the factor that Harold Ramis passed away, the actor who played Egon.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, like, I think for the villain of Ghostbusters 3, they actually were considering like Sacha Baron Cohen as the role of the villain who could convey funny. He's the guy who played that character Borat or Bruno or the Dictator. Or if you're gonna go by like kids movies, he played King Julian in the Madagascar movies.
Oh, okay.
That was Sacha Baron Cohen. They thought he could have conveyed funny yet scary at the same time. Which I still think you could also Eddie Murphy could also convey funny and scary at the same time too with Vampire in Brooklyn.
Just look at his face. I mean, he nowadays, he's very scary looking, but he's pretty funny.
Yeah, but I'm telling you though, it would be crazy that I know Vampire in Brooklyn's a pretty good movie, and it really conveys a lot of comedy to it. I mean, my sisters love that movie.
Scrooge is pretty awesome. Even though it leans more to the comedy side, but with like sprinkles of horror.
Yeah, I mean, sure, if it's in their same, I mean, the original Ghostbusters film also conveyed this. They also conveyed funny and scary also at the same time, but the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, that was a full-on comedy. And I still can't, it was just really crazy. Hell, they even wanted to do like they actually there was if you saw there was supposed to be that crazy dance sequence that they did in the movie, but that was actually intended to be a lot longer in terms of what Paul Feig wanted it to be. He wanted it to be a lot longer. And because he just in terms of the plot when he came up with the idea is that I think he wanted the entire world to see the U.S. make the entire U.S. Army and the police of New York look ridiculous, and not only making them look stupid, but also giving himself a good laugh. And also, I think what else? Darn, lost my train of thought there. I think also another crazy concept they wanted to try they wanted to use in Ghostbusters that not only would the villain of Ghostbusters 2016 recruit ghosts from the ghost dimension, but he would also recruit ghosts from other parts of the universe, essentially ghost aliens. Aliens.
Oh, right. Ghost aliens.
Yeah, apparently just. That is okay. That's what the hell is okay? What the hell? I mean, he even said to a letter to the current one of the producers at Sony at the time who's not in a very big position now. I think Tom Roth is who once was a producer at Fox. Now he's in with Sony, and he was probably and Tom Roth was probably the reason why Fantastic X-Men: The Last Stand was a bad movie, and a few other things.
Don't mind that movie.
Yeah, sure, it had some comedy moments, but it kind of really butchered the Phoenix Saga. It really kind of did, and hell, Dark Phoenix was even worse, from what I hear.
Oh, I heard that. I heard that movie was a dumpster fire.
Oh yeah, but it's crazy though to think that all that stuff is going to happen, especially since with Ghostbusters. But Amy Pascal actually invited all the cast to come to her house for a dinner party, and the only person who was uninformed about all this was Ivan Reitman, because no one wanted to tell him anything, and obviously they wanted to force it. It was actually a very covert plan to try to force him out of the production of the movie.
Huh.
Seriously, but the thing is, yeah, Ivan Reitman was reluctant to do. He actually really wanted to do that move, wanted to do Ghostbusters again because that was essentially his baby.
Oh yeah, same thing with Dan Aykroyd. Like he fucking loves the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but I'm hoping. But I know one thing. Like I said, 2020. If Jason Reitman pulls it off, seriously, this is the reason why you need to have good people, good competent people to do these movies, not just some random dude who says they've seen it, but they never really did, and they just make up stuff as they go along. Paul Feig, Ryan Johnson, he really need to do it. But then again, I still really don't care about Rise of Skywalker. I really, really don't. I really don't.
Oh, me neither.
But I will always do so this. I mean, sure, the Mandalorian looks interesting, but I think I'm here having some. Hold on. Terminate the program. No. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I think like the Mandalorian is good, but I think I also heard recently that Disney Plus is going to release all their content on a weekly basis and not like all at once like Netflix does. Like they're still trying. Yeah, I think they're trying to use a streaming service and like the terms of like traditional television. I'm pretty sure most of us young guys, we don't even watch TV anymore. All we do is watch YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, and other streaming platforms. Nobody we've essentially cut the cord. You just don't.
Shoot, I barely watch anything. If I try my PS4, I'm playing a game, or go get home. I'll play my Switch or PS4.
Yeah, I know. I play it, but at times, yeah, I'll just do it and just keep it on. Just pull up Netflix, Hulu, or YouTube, and just watch something on there, and just while I'm eating lunch or something, or eating dinner. And I really just
watch Jackie Gleason while we eat.
Okay.
Oh, not even you got that one?
No, one of these days, Bears, bam, zoom to the moon, bitch. You just had to go there with that.
I remember when we first had the Wii U, like we were watching, like I think it was Netflix on the Wii U. I think we were watching Mean Girls, and then we're wanting to just stay over there and watch it and eat. I was like, wait a minute, took the tablet off the charger, put it on the stand, go, we can watch Jackie Gleason while we eat.
Oh man, that's good. But it's really, really good that we're, like I said, we are just lovers of everything pop culture. I mean, not only does we do love pop culture, but we also still love video games. Heck, I know one thing though. I still cannot wait to see how they're going to explore a lot more stuff in the Horizon Zero Dawn sequel. Heck, I'm even writing.
I actually need to beat that game, please. No spoilers. I actually have not finished the game.
Okay, but dude, seriously, I'm just telling you. How far are you?
I'm still like kind of in the beginning of the game.
Well,
kinda.
Well, just keep playing, dude. I'm telling you, it's gonna get really, really good as you progress. But I mean,
I was enjoying it. Don't get the impression I wasn't, but I really was. And I just dropped it for some reason.
Yeah, I understand that. But but still, yeah, and everything else, I know I'm glad we're getting hopefully we're gonna get sequels to Spider-Man and Horizon Zero Dawn, because I really, really like it. And those are the only two exclusives I played on the PS4 this generation. I know I gotta pick up and play Bloodborne at some point. I have to.
So I forgot if I were able to let you borrow my copy of Bloodborne, I would totally let you do that.
No, I actually got it free on PlayStation Plus, so I think I can just download it on my hard drive.
Dude, you're a live stream of your first time playing it.
Yeah, I'll probably go into do a blind, just like I have another series. But I streamed Spider-Man only in honor of like Far From Home coming out. So luckily I was able to go see that. And like I said, yesterday I went to go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was decent. I mean, sure, at times it kind of got boring at points, but there was only one point in the movie where I literally just could not stop laughing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's good. I know one thing. I'd say it's not like Kill Bill or Pulp Fiction good.
Yeah, although I actually don't care for Pulp Fiction. It's like, I don't know. The only memorable thing for me was Christopher Walken and Samuel Jackson.
I thought that was John Travolta in that movie, not Christopher Walken.
No, Christopher Walken was in the movie. It was like a very small part though.
Oh, okay.
Like it was like young. He was talking to young Bruce Willis, basically, or young Bruce Willis's character.
Okay. And also, yeah, I know still. Also, I think like Shyamalan also finally completed his this trilogy, Unbreakable, Split, and Glass. So
don't spoil Glass because I haven't seen that one. It's kind of this weird thing between my dad and I because he hasn't watched Split and I haven't watched Unbreakable. So
I haven't watched all three movies, so I really don't know. But I know that they're all. But I only know that they're all interconnected. I know my sisters love those movies. They loved Split, and I know they definitely probably went to Glass. But I know last time I actually saw a superhero movie thing, I saw Shazam like 3 months ago, back in April. It was.
Wait, you didn't see Far From Home?
No, I saw Far From Home. I saw Shazam, and I also completely forgot that I saw.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah, I saw Far From Home, but I like that they're just gonna still go with the whole less interconnected part with the DCAU because obviously Batman v Superman kind of screwed that up, and obviously Justice League didn't do it any favors. They were like 5 years too late.
Was like Justice League that fucking bad?
I don't really know, but I know a lot of people. There was like a lot of problems, like of course, the infamous CGI mustache for Henry Cavill. But I think he's out playing the character. Same thing with Ben Affleck, I think. But now Robert Pattinson is going to be playing the role of Batman. It's going to take more into the direction of how Batman should be, with being the world's greatest detective, which he is. Which I do like it. I mean, I like the idea, but I'm hoping a character that he should actually do that'll make a really good Batman detective story would be him dealing with the Riddler. That would be perfect. Because obviously,
there was a Batman movie with the Riddler, but we don't talk about that one.
Yeah, we don't. And I know another weirder thing is because people even almost a full decade later after this disgrace to vampire lore in general, they wanted freaking Kirsten Stewart to play Catwoman in this Batman movie. People were petitioning, like, Warner Bros.
Isn't that the chick from Twilight?
Yes, unfortunately.
Or Kristen Stewart or something like that.
Yeah. She's the girl who's basically a plank of wood in all those movies. And literally like every which is literally every emo girl's fantasies. But again, it's just like really you actually still want those two to actually hell, it doesn't really matter because there was not any chemistry between them. All the few scenes I've seen, but that didn't make me want to just end it all. There was absolutely no chemistry in that movie. It's just as stupid as dang that other movie that was essentially almost like Twilight fan fiction, essentially, that spun off into its own novel, but also had an equally infamous movie quadrilogy, essentially, or trilogy. I don't really know. I don't keep track of that stuff. And it's just really, really weird. But I really hope maybe I know I said the same thing about I honestly thought Batflick was okay, but I don't know. I guess he just opted out because of all the dang crap that's going on at Warner Brothers and DCAU because they were trying to scramble to get everything and try to one up Marvel. Which now with the MCU and chaos, they actually might have a chance to. I hope, and they just don't fumble while trying to hit the goal line.
Sorry, we do not have money in the budget to own a good extended universe.
Oh man, but just that's a big crazy thing that I think this should be another topic. We're gonna talk about a couple more topics and then we're gonna sign off for now. Is the massive boom of superhero or any type of like some sort of superhero like extended universe or whatever, some sort of like shared cinematic universe, whatnot. They actually
not even like superhero, because remember Universal tried to do the whole dark universe.
Yeah, with the monster movie. Yeah, with all the classic monster movies. I mean, sure, they did that before back in like the damn late 20s and throughout the 30s. But look, I understand those films are iconic. Those old classic films are iconic. And I mean, sure, there are a lot of people who definitely do and grew up on like the 1999 and 2001 Mummy films, and Tomb of the Dragon Emperor was probably less said about that movie the better, because that was terrible. But I will say that I can't believe that they actually tried to set up a universe and it derailed even before it could even get off the ground.
I think it was even tried multiple times before the Mummy too. It was like, what was it? Dracula Untold.
And I think it was also, I mean, I think there was another movie called I, Frankenstein with Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah, that's right.
The guy from the sergeant dude from Battle Los Angeles, I think. And he also played Harvey Dent in like The Dark Knight.
I didn't even finish Battle of Los Angeles. That movie was so fucking boring.
Yeah, but if you want to make it up to yourself, there's a video from this channel called Media Zealot, Sci-Fi Civilizations That Are Too Stupid to Exist, where he points out how terrible this alien civilization and how their means to invade Earth are, like, or any sort of thing. It's crazy. It's just so dang. All these videos are just so funny. But still, it's just like, I know the whole thing with the Dark Universe. I know they did try to settle that stuff up. Heck, they even tried to have like Russell Crowe be essentially the Nick Fury of this Dark Universe. And they already teased a lot of stuff. They already teased Frankenstein. I think they teased the Creature of the Black Lagoon, which I think, like, at the time when they were developing it, I think Scarlett Johansson was attached to the project, but of course that never went off the ground. It's just like, you really were just trying to set everything. You put all your eggs in one basket, and then you just dropped them right as soon as you brought them to the farmer's market, essentially. That's a really weird analogy, but hey, it works. So just anything else you want on your mind?
Not really in particular.
Well, I know one thing. I think since we got nothing else left to talk about, I guess we're gonna have to sign off for now. So anyone who watches this later or who never really tuned into this broadcast, you're watching later, submit topics for what's going on in pop culture recently or anything gaming related. Please post them in the comments below so we can have them done for our next episode. So this is JetSparks373 and Bear64 signing off, and we'll see you guys next time.